Hello and welcome to Start Over Coffee. My name is Shaquila Smith and I lead the community and marketing here at Start. Start Over Coffee is all about having conversations with creators in the Salt Lake City area. And for today, we'll be interviewing Teri Tito, who is the founder and CEO of Wumgo. And Wumgo is a child carrier engineered for protection, and we'll be discussing the bootstrapping of her startup, the design and functions of Wumgo. So, hey Teri, how are you?
I'm doing great, Shay. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Today's a really beautiful day, and I'm very happy to have you on the podcast and get to talk about Wumgo.
Perfect. Perfect. I'm
Yeah.
excited. I can talk about that all day, so you better be careful with time.
Well, let's get you started. Let's have you talk a little bit about Wumgo, just the product itself, and then kind of diving a little bit into the story of Wumgo and how that all got started.
Sure. Well, in order to talk about the product, I'd like to talk to you about how I came up with the idea and why. I've done a lot of hiking over the years. I know that you're a big outdoor person too, and that's a great thing. We both live in Utah, and part of life for me. And I saw more and more young families out hiking with their kids. And I noticed that they were using the same child carrier I used for my son over 25 years ago. And that's cool and all, except on a mountain, it just didn't look safe to me. And I saw these young athletic families shooting past me. And when, right, so when they got in front of me and I got that vision of the child in a backpack carrier and their head bopping around, and I saw rocks on the ground and elevations and whatnot, I just thought, oh man, if that parent falls, that child's going to get seriously injured. So every time I would go out and see carriers, whether it was in the city or on nature trails, I just always thought of that. And then it got to be such a, I guess, obsession that I started going to stores to see what was available to parents, anywhere they would sell child carriers. And I saw their dilemma. They just didn't have anything more protective on the market. Whether it's a front carrier for small babies or a backpack carrier for older toddlers, they're both made from cloth. They leave the child's head exposed to injuries. So I'm an artist, I'm a mom, a designer, and then I've been an entrepreneur all my career. So I knew I could fix this problem. And I started thinking about what materials I could use that would actually have impact, absorbing materials, and then also shield the child. And as a designer and artist, I started drawing what I thought would look good. And then I started calling some of my friends who are engineers, and that's when the ball started rolling. I designed Wumgo, which is engineered for protection and designed for adventure, so that I could offer active parents a better option.
I love that. How has the product developed over the years, and what was the first prototype versus now look like? Like how much has it changed, and what have you learned about child safety?
Oh man, I wish I could show you the first drawing. It was on like lined paper with a pen, and it's come a long way. It really has. I got my engineers that I used are in Santa Monica, which is where I am right now, and they are experts at engineering high-end bicycle helmets and motorsports protective gear. I just hit the jackpot with them. And they also have a television show. It's not on right now, but it came on right after Shark Tank. And the name of the show is Make Me a Millionaire Inventor. And they would take prototypes that didn't look good and make them into like amazing prototypes. And so when I got the appointment with them and they loved my idea, they created the 3D CAD model. They did feasibility tests on it. They made sure that it's going to pass all compliance. So it was super exciting that it got that far. And then my first prototype, I've been bootstrapping this since its conception. So if I had lots of funds, I'd have the Mercedes-Benz of prototypes by now. But the first prototype that I did was made in a 3D printer. And it was a conceptual prototype to show what exactly the product is meant to do. And since then, I entered the European Product Design Award, and that was just last year. I won the European Product Design Award for child safety. And we were the only winners in that category, which really validated this product that parents really needed. So super excited.
Yeah.
It's engineered like a bicycle helmet. I don't know if I said that. And it's
Yeah.
designed like a child carrier. So someone said, maybe you should call it the baby body helmet. And I'm like, that's not a bad idea.
I like Wumgo, honestly. Maybe because I've known it just as Wumgo this entire time, so I'm like hooked on it. But yeah, I mean, I think looking at child safety and looking at that problem and being observant is like really cool. I know in Utah, I noticed that too, being in the mountains, and you see that a lot actually, and it's so needed. And I think this is the perfect market for that as well.
Thanks. Well,
Yeah.
before I started designing anything, I went online and I did a lot of research. And I found a 20-year study that was published in the American Journal of Pediatrics. And during this 20-year study, they wanted to know whether or not child carriers and strollers were safe. That's why they had a 20-year study. During that time,
Wow.
over 368,000 kids were injured and brought to hospitals. And over half of those injuries were related to child carriers. And over half of those injuries resulted in trauma to the child's head. So I'm talking about serious,
Wow.
serious head injuries, traumatic brain injuries, skull fractures, lacerations to the child's face, concussions. I mean, these are really serious injuries. And this amounts to, still today, 17,000 kids under the age of 5 each year injured in stroller and carrier accidents, where I said like a majority of those are from carriers. One child every 30 minutes. It could be, I don't want it to be my grandkid. I don't want it to be any,
Yeah.
I don't want it. Parents are out there doing something positive for their kids when they're wearing them on nature trails, but also child carriers allow parents freedom to run errands and be hands-free and not have to slow down. And I'm not saying that they haven't made any improvements to safety over the thousands of years that child carriers have been around. I mean, they've been around for centuries, really, because they have made some improvements. But since most of the injuries result in trauma to the child's head, they've completely ignored the big pink elephant in the room, which is, let's protect those kids' heads. Let's protect their neck. So that's, they haven't done enough, I don't think.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think we could always do better in regards to safety. Even seatbelts in our car seem not as safe as it could be. There's so many things. The airbag could be safer. I mean, even as adults, but especially children, I think it's awesome what you're doing, and obviously makes a huge impact in people's lives directly. And with our innovative technology now, we should be doing those things, and we should be focusing on those things.
Yeah, especially since it's such an important piece of equipment for parents, so that it gives them ease of, it makes them be able to conduct their life easier. Hey, it's actually, I have a great photo of a child carrier from 1941. It looks the same as the backpack carrier today. I'm like, 1941, that is a long time ago. And, and even after this 20-year study and whatnot, I mean, yeah, we could do better. Elon Musk, he has a quote that I absolutely love, and it's there's lots. I don't know if I'm quoting this right, so but there's a lot of things that are improbable, but there's very few things that are impossible, and I love that.
Yeah, I'd agree. If you could put your mind to it, most of the time you could do it, and I want to talk a little bit about, because we're kind of like on this topic, but it's like, how are you different than a lot of the carriers on the market right now? But it seems like there's a lot of difference in what your product is in comparison already based off what you've said. But regarding the design and just the use of product and things like that, how versatile Wumgo is compared to other products. I would love to talk about that a little bit more.
Sure. Well, thank you. It stands out. It's way different. First, it's innovative design. It's state of the art. It looks so different. People are going to be, or they already are when they see it. They're like, "Wow, what is that? I like that." And it's lightweight, so that's similar to what carriers are today. So I use bicycle helmet materials so that it is lightweight, so parents can wear it for a long period of time. But it has that hard outer shell that shields the child's head, spine, and body like no other carrier out there if a parent trips and falls. A kid is going down at 60 miles per hour if they're on your shoulders, and to offer at least a buffer is I think a good idea. The interior cockpit is heavily padded, so that not only is comfortable, where carriers today are just made from one thin piece of cloth, so it's very comfortable, but it also offers more protection surrounding the child's body. We will be, we're the only carrier that offers impact protection. We're the only carrier that offers safety, really, so complete safety. We're the only carrier made with a hard outer shell. Everything else is made from fabric. We're the only carrier that has that unique shape. So we have a lot of uniqueness. We're keeping the retail price similar to what's on the market. Our retail price compares to the leading backpack carriers on the market right now. So I don't want to charge a premium. But one of the most exciting things about the product that parents really love is that it's multifunctional. I forgot, I can't believe I didn't already mention this, but by snapping the hard outer shell of the backpack carrier into wheels, it becomes a stroller. You snap it into a base in your car and it becomes a car seat, and snap it onto the back of your bike and it becomes a bike carrier. So it's the whole line of mobility products that parents need. One click of a button. So they love this because they're like, oh my gosh, you don't have to go store to store to buy big bulky items and then take them into your house and try to find a place to store these things. Once you put the attachment where it belongs, it stays there, and there's no storing of anything really.
Well, and in that life, it's so multifunctional. I think it's so affordable too, because, right, most people, they have to get a stroller and they have to get a car seat, and all of those purchases add up to be a lot. And then plus the storage. So I think the product is so brilliant in the way that it's multifunctional. It even makes it better than it already is.
Oh,
So I kind of want to talk a little bit on the design side. I know you mentioned fabrics that people do use. What fabrics do they use? And then I know you use the helmet fabric. What made you move towards that, and what made you decide that?
yeah. Well, I don't know how my brain works like that, but I mean, I thought about it within like few minutes. I mean, I was just like
Amazing.
thinking, and boom, I thought, oh, but at first I thought motorcycle helmet, because I was thinking what has the most protection, the fastest impact. And of course, it's really probably a motorcycle helmet, but it's too heavy and it's too hot for kids to be put in for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And then that's when it just came to me, bike helmet, and I went and got my bike helmets out of my closet and started putting heavy weights in them. And, you know, that's how that came about. But
That's
the
so
interior
cool.
lining is going to have a fabric you can wipe clean, and that's a coolant fabric, so to keep the child cool and doesn't get hot. The colors will be coordinated as such as well. But the one thing about the product is, like, I want fashionable people, like, I love the way this looks, because I've always been in the fashion industry, and so it's really important to me to not have anything that clashes with our outfits. And whether it's in the city or on nature trails, it's kind of funny because I've been since I've been working on this, taking a lot of photos. People are like, why are you taking a photo of my kid? in a stroller, or, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, can I take your photo, and get their
Yeah.
permission, and talk to them about carrying kids and stuff. But a lot of them in the city are wearing mostly black strollers, black carriers. But the ones that you see, the backpack carriers, you don't see them in the city. Backpack carriers on nature trails, and you'll notice this now, especially since we're talking about it. They look like they're for the outdoors. They look like they're made, and they suit a great purpose, but
Right.
they're tan or navy or orange. I don't want to say
Right.
red, or I don't know. Almost look like outdoor gear. And I want Wumgo to have a different feel to it. I want
Like
it
a
to look like
sleek look.
sleek
Yeah.
look. You could look at us in the city or on nature trails. You don't,
Yeah.
I think that's my goal.
Yeah. I love that. I'm cheating because I know your designs and I've seen it before
Uh-huh.
and I love it. And this is interesting. And as you were talking and you quoted Elon Musk, I was like, well, I could totally see it being in like a Tesla. Like that's the vibe I get from your product, like in the design. And it's so because it's so innovative. And I haven't seen the product in real life yet, but based off the designs and the modeling, it looks like it's gonna be, like you said, like sleek. You could wear it in the city, and then you could be out in the mountains and outdoors.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think a lot of the design is set beautifully and purposefully based off of kind of who you are.
Mhm.
And this might be veering off a little bit from what we're talking about, but I want to talk a little bit about yourself as an entrepreneur because this is a lot of, I mean, you said it yourself a little bit is, I don't know how I came up with it. I just came up with it, but you're a lot of like, design oriented. Your brain is very much creative, but you're also very detail oriented. So I just want to have you talk about yourself as an entrepreneur and the history of you as an entrepreneur.
Oh, wow. I appreciate that. It's just always been really important to me to not have a glass ceiling, to be able to, I have a sky's the limit type of attitude, and even further than the sky, the moon's the limit, or whatever. So I've been very creative with my life. I've been very open, trying new things. There was a book that I read when I was, I don't even think I was really a young stage, but The Alchemist. It's like, try as many things as possible and you will become the smartest person in the world, or in the room, or whatever. And that's what I've done. When I'm a cosmetologist by trade. I did not know I could get an art degree. I'm also an artist. I've been an artist all my life. So I didn't just go work for the largest, best hair salon when I started. I did that for maybe a year. And then I went on to work for myself. I didn't like the way my paychecks looked, to be honest with you. And I didn't like sharing at that point. And I opened a salon called Whistles on the second floor of Michigan Avenue, not just a mom and pop shop. On a street corner somewhere in Chicago. I went to the Mag Mile right away, but I didn't realize that location is so important. I learned that the hard way. I had my salon, negotiated the leases. I had no employees, just myself, so I got lucky because I was on the second floor. I put a sandwich board sign on the first floor. I threw paint on it, and this is a very conservative area, but I didn't know that all of the leading advertising agencies were nearby. And when they would go to lunch, all the creatives, they would see that sandwich board sign and they came up to the second floor. And I got just the best clientele. And we had advertising, done for us for free. And we started doing all these hair shows in nightclubs at midnight. We'd be like, at the Limelight and all the really hot clubs. And oh man, it was just so fun. And after 8 years of owning that salon, doing really well, I opened another salon, and it had a more sophisticated vibe. We were the only matchmaking hair salon probably ever invented or imagined. And it was called The Parlor. And the whole tagline was "Meet me in the parlor." And I got the idea from an opera called the Barber of Seville. So, I mean, my clientele then was just huge already, and it even grew more because I went to the modeling agencies in Chicago, and we got all the new faces coming in. And then I went to the concierge at the boutique hotels, and we started getting celebrities, and we had all these young professionals. And that was just crazy. We wound up in national magazines like Cosmo and InStyle. And I don't know, it was an 8 years must, I went on to publish a magazine then. So, I mean, I've done a lot of things.
Yeah.
But this is the most important thing Wumgo, and the most important thing that I've ever worked on that means so much to me. It's not a vanity product. It's not about design or anything materialistic. It's to save kids and to give parents peace of mind. And if I could leave the planet doing something that to me is that meaningful, I will be very, very happy.
Yeah. No, and I mean, with your history and you as an artist, even right now, you're a serial entrepreneur. Like, you are seriously a serial entrepreneur. And it's amazing that you've really taken the time and energy to put it into something before, you don't have any time left to do this, because I think a lot of people don't think of that. Like, what's the last product I want to create before I go? And I
Yeah.
go right now, I could go in like a day, but you really had to sit down and think how safety is really important for the world and how impactful it is.
Yeah. Well, I remember when my dad used to throw us in the back of his Chevy Impala. There were no seatbelts. We'd go to the beach and on a Saturday, and we were bouncing around that car, sitting on his lap behind the steering wheel. I mean, that's the days I grew up in. And so, nobody wore bike helmets at the time. There were no seatbelts. There were no airbags. And all those things over the last 50 years are very in fashion still, very, very important. And somehow the child carriers were, I don't know about ignored, but they got overlooked. And,
Yeah.
and to me, as an entrepreneur for all this time, it's super exciting. This opportunity is exciting. The fact that, I'm capable of, building a team. I know I don't know everything that there is to know about manufacturing, but I sure am learning. And I know over the years that I've been an entrepreneur, I know how to get the right people. I know how to make those appointments and get people involved. So that's what's exciting about this, is that nobody in the last couple of years that I've been working on this has said it's a bad idea. Everyone wants to get involved. So it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And how could they not, And I really think the bootstrapping aspect of your business is remarkable as well, because like you're saying, people want to help. You've been working on this for some time now, but it's like, I mean, bootstrapping it is a whole other mountain to climb. And so how has that been? And how has the progress been? How has the timeline looked like? Because every entrepreneur has to deal with the crazy timeline. They put it in their head, and then it ends up being extended for some reason. And what really is, I guess, the biggest thing for you now with the bootstrapping? What funds do you need to excel a little bit? What's kind of your process right now?
Yeah, well, currently we're vetting investors, and the bootstrapping is not working fast enough, But I
Yeah.
had to get to a certain point to get investors to realize that this is serious and it's going to happen. And I'm at that point now. So we are at fundraising, $2 million seed round currently, and to get into manufacturing. But super excited. Well, okay, first you asked a couple questions, but
Yeah.
bootstrapping.
Sorry.
I sold my car. I had a really cool car. That's gone. I've slept on friends. I wouldn't say sofas. I did have a bedroom, but they've helped out. So, and I would pay my last penny to see this go farther. And I do actually, it's money well spent in my opinion. But I recently won the 20, no, not, I recently won Launch Boom's world's largest crowdfunding pitch competition. That was just a month ago. That's got me super busy. And what I won was basically a crowdfunding, all of the marketing, all of the video, all of the IP protection, everything that you could possibly need in business services. It was 130, no, almost $130,000 worth of business services to get Wumgo launched, to pre-sell, not to get it launched, that it's not money, but to pre-sell my first 5,000 units is what our goal is. And then some, because Launch Boom selected Wumgo as one of the top 5 finalists out of the thousands and thousands of products they see all the time. Their team picked Wumgo as one of the top 5. So I was very, very thrilled about that. And then on top of that, then we had all 5 of us pitched. The judges were off the charts, like Kevin Harrington, he's one of the original judges from Shark Tank. He was a judge. Dave Meltzer was a judge. The head of sales from Indiegogo was a judge, and the president of Launch Boom. And I'm missing somebody. Ken Burris, who was in manufacturing, which I won that too. I won, I don't know, $25,000 with manufacturing. I'm like,
amazing.
I'm just so psyched about that win. And so that's part of our package now, is that we are going to have Kickstarter campaign, not Kickstarter. Oops. Probably go with it. We are going with Indiegogo.
Yeah. That's amazing. I know. I'm really excited for you. I've just been so antsy to see it go live, like in the market, because I mean, knowing you, I've heard kind of the story and the progress slowly but surely, and I just know Wumgo is going to be such a huge game changer in the market.
Oh, thank you. Can I tell you about the name real quick? The Wumgo name, how I got that. Wumgo. First, I was going to spell it differently, but I probably don't even need to tell you that. And it went through a couple different ways. How are we going to sell? It was going to be womb. And then guys were like, I don't want to wear a womb. And then it was like, so how about if I spell it with double O's? And then how about if I, then I just thought, Wumgo, and I spelled it with a W with a umlaut over the U, so it looks like a smile. It's a smiley face, basically, because it's a happy product. And then parents feel the most the first time parents feel protected, like they're protecting their child, is when they're in the womb. They see an ultrasound, they see the heartbeat, and they're like, boom, wow, we got to be careful about what we eat and what we do and all this stuff. And so I wanted to name it Womb, and then Wumgo is just so obvious. And so I'm really super excited about the name. It looks good. And I have the wumgo.com domain name. So we have the landing page up. It looks really nice. And yeah, so that's how I got the name.
That's amazing. Yeah. And it's funny. I have made just like assumptions based off the name. It's literally what I thought, but I don't know. Cause sometimes, names, it's like businesses, sometimes it really does match the business and sometimes it doesn't at all. There's some businesses that it's just random,
Right.
So, but yours is very purposeful, and that's a beautiful thing. I wanted to hit on one more thing regarding like bootstrapping and kind of where you're headed. I know you're just a one-woman team right now, with some help from others, but what does it look like as far as now with this competition that you won and allocating the funds and raising more capital as far as your team goes? Are you going to start building a team soon? You're like on the horizon of very exciting things, so I want to know.
Super excited. I have my COO who's on board now, and I don't know, miracle of miracles. It's the lead engineer who engineered Wumgo, the backpack carrier. So he's he's the founder of Bluefish, and now he's on board as COO. He's Martin Delgard. He's fabulous. He has a PhD in mechanical engineering.
Amazing.
He's an expert at engineering high-end bicycle helmets and motorsports protective gear. He's just a cool guy who has a lot. He's very brilliant. He's brilliant. So I'm thrilled. It's like an honor to have him on the team. So I do have a team. And then as we get funded, I have my e-commerce. They're actually here, eGlobal Management, and they're a digital marketing company, and they take companies and scale them globally. So I'm really super excited about that. And Stoll Reeves is my legal team, but I have identified my whole team. Once I get funded, it's all there. My manufacturers identified everything.
That's amazing. Well, that's
Yeah.
exciting. I'm so excited for you. How can people find you? Social media, your website, wumgo.com, I'm assuming. But how can people find you and support you, and what can they look out for in the next 6 to 12 months?
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, you can find me. You can email me anytime at teri@wumgo.com. The next 6 months, we'll be doing a Indiegogo campaign, and please join our website, join our journey at wumgo.com, and subscribe so that I have your email and I could get back to you. So yeah, we plan to launch once we get funded, we plan to launch like right away. And that's our goal. We'll sell our first 5,000 units direct to consumer through our Wumgo website. We're going to launch with our backpack carrier. Then year 2, we're introducing our front carrier, the Woombi, for small babies. It's really super exciting because, I have a great, the design is amazing for that. And then year 3, we'll be entering into retail stores like independent outdoor retail stores and independent baby product stores, as well as national chains. We're building relationships with national chains that are, I probably shouldn't say the names right now, but that's exciting. And through distributors, we plan to be in over 30 countries, much like our competitors, over the next maybe 3 to 5 years.
That's amazing. Wow, you have so many things to look forward to, and I'm so excited to keep up with your product and keep talking to you about it throughout the months and years. And I'm so glad we did this podcast to talk about Wumgo and a little bit about the history, how you did the bootstrapping, and gosh, we covered a lot, but such amazing things, and just what you're doing is so cool.
Oh, thank you so much. I love START, and thank you for including me in all of your events, and what you're doing for the art and entrepreneur community here in Utah is fantastic.
Thanks, Teri. Yeah, I appreciate it. That's really sweet. I know I have gotten some compliments on this podcast, and I'm just like, oh, this is about you. Like it's such a pleasure, and it's something I'm so passionate about doing. I love it. So anything I could do to help.
Yeah, I love the programs that you have on First Fridays, and the music and the poetry, and especially during the time of lockdown, it really offered me, at least, I'm sure many other people that are in your community, a chance to feel connected. Really, really wonderful.
Thanks. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. Oh, that makes me so happy. Well, you have a wonderful day, Teri. Go enjoy the sunshine, shine the beach. You're in Santa Monica. You need to do it. So
yeah. So
awesome.
Cool. Thanks so much. And I'll talk to you soon.
Talk soon. To learn more about START, visit STRT.com. The music featured on this podcast is from Jay Warren, a Utah local artist, and it is from his newest album, Give Love, and the single is called Take It Higher.
Take my hand and feel my heart beat for you. Ooh, I like the way you move. Don't stop the way you groove. Girl, do the things you do.